Do you know what is Jenny? It's the largest youth entrepreneurship festival that JA Europe is organizing. Why it's E? It's E stands for European, yes, of course. Education, yes, of course. Employment, yes, of course. Environment, yes, of course. And entrepreneurship, the largest youth entrepreneurship festival. And who is the main partner? You know, you want to write it in the comments? You know, is the main partner. Main partner is FedEx, who allows those thousands of young people to come together this year, January 2024, in Italy, in my country, in Catania. But every year we change location. Last year we were in Istanbul. Next year we're going to be in, I'm not going to disclose it to you. But what we are going to disclose is about the benefits and logistic behind a global supply chain. And who are we asking those interesting questions? We're asking to the strategic information technology leader at FedEx Express, Abhijit Ovalekar. Hello, Abhi. How are you doing?
Thank you, Salvatore. I'm good.
You see, we have many of our followers that are definitely following. I want them to engage into this podcast. Definitely comment down here, but also like. And last thing is comment, like. Last thing is about sharing, because we want that what we are talking in this podcast becomes viral. So share and reshare on Spotify and on our YouTube channel. So FedEx is a great partner. FedEx is leader when it comes to logistics, to the all over the world. FedEx is the one not only that is delivering all the packages to our houses, and I open the door quite often every day, but also it's the whole supply chain. So Abhi, what are the global supply chains and why they are important, especially for our young audience, for the early stage startups?
Certainly a good question. So, global supply chain refers to an interconnected network of suppliers, manufacturers, distributors, and retailers involved in producing and delivering goods and services worldwide. They are crucial for early stage startups because they provide access to diverse range of resources. Global supply chain allows startups to access specialized resources, components, and expertise that may not be available locally. This access enables startups to innovate more effectively and bring unique products or services to the market. By tapping into the global supply chain, startups can benefit from cost efficiencies. Example, sourcing material or components from the regions where the production costs are lower. Startups can achieve cost efficiencies. This is particularly beneficial for bootstrapped or capital constrained startups trying to optimize their expenses. They can quickly scale production or expand into new markets by tapping into existing supply chain networks and the ability to reach the international market. Being part of a global supply chain enables startup to reach diverse market across the world. This diversity reduces dependence on any single market and mitigates risk associated with the regional economic downturns or market fluctuations, which are essential for growth and competitiveness. Startups that effectively integrate into global supply chain can gain a competitive advantage by offering unique products, faster delivery times, or better pricing compared to the competitors who rely solely on local resources. And lastly, collaboration within global supply chain fosters innovation. Startups can partner with suppliers, manufacturers, and distributors from different parts of the world to exchange ideas, technologies, and best practices.
So in reality, what you're seeing is, to put to an example, I'm an early young entrepreneur. I'm doing my startup. I cannot only focus on my local, right? I need to understand where globally I can also find production material, resources that I need at a lower prices. Obviously, I need to add the logistical cost of all of it, but it allows me to make more margin. And at the same time, it also allows me not to be too much dependent only on my local market for this kind of material. Because what happens if then there is not available? My clients will be not satisfied. So this is the whole supply chain. Absolutely, Abhi, as you explain it. But Abhi, this requires different skill set. This requires a different mindset for those young people, right? And not necessarily everybody has that. You have a global mind, but what led you personally, Abhi, to lead, to join such a great company like FedEx? This was your one your dream job? Was this one something you always wanted to work with? How did you end up here?
Oh, well, I started, my background is I'm an engineer. I started with IT oriented companies, IT service oriented companies. I worked for around 5 years in that industry. But then I thought I need to, find a job or work where, you know, there's more focus on the business, and IT plays a role in enabling the business. And I started applying for different such companies, and one of them was FedEx. Fortunately, I got job here. I started my career in 2001 with FedEx, and
Wow, what a
it's
long
almost
journey.
25 years now. So I started as a frontline customer facing employee, selling FedEx technology to our customers, integrating them into our for data exchange, for information exchange. I enjoyed that. FedEx is such a large organization, and the people focus is really strong, and they encourage people, to develop themselves and move from one area to the other. Same thing happened with me. I was interested in the hardcore business area, the planning and engineering part of it. I got an opportunity. I joined that group within FedEx, and I learned the core of the business. It's just not about moving package from A to B. There is so much behind it. Uh, Post that, I also got involved into strategic projects in FedEx, and that's how I transitioned from strategic projects to mergers and acquisitions, then on to data analytics, and now leading a strategic group of team, who's working on the strategic projects. So I've been wearing different hat. So every day is a new day for me, and that is what is exciting about this company FedEx. You get all those opportunities to do things which you love, enjoy, move from one department to other, learn that business, so on and so forth. So it's quite exciting in FedEx.
It is exciting as it is exciting for us at JA to have FedEx as main partner of Jenny, in addition to all the different activities that we do across country. But can you give us some examples of startups that have effectively utilized the global supply chain to their advantage?
Certainly, certainly. I would like to share the inspiring journey of the student startup company. It's called as strapflex.nl, which I have had a privilege to mentor. So this group of young entrepreneurs, 19 to 21 years kind of boys, um, this group of young entrepreneurs identified a crucial need to secure shin guard in sport like football and hockey. From the inception of the product design to sourcing, their journey has been remarkable. By leveraging global supply chain and forging partnership with manufacturers in Asia, they have successfully offered affordable stretchable sports band in European market. Through direct to consumer distribution channels, they have managed to disrupt the EU market monopoly. Today, with the fully established supply chain, their products are available in sports stores and on their website, strapflex.nl. This success has propelled them onto a national television show, into newspaper, significantly enhancing their popularity. So this is one of the success stories, and it's a proud moment for me because I stand beside them as a mentor, and they too, uh, kind of have that kind of a respect and rely upon me for information, for guidance, so on and so forth.
Of
So
course,
a
they
real
are. I mean, you are a great leader there, but you also recognize the value of mentorship, right? I mean, young people need this kind of guidance. So I'm sure they valued what your expertise has provided us. But also, it's about identifying those opportunities, not that easy, right? So, how can young people can identify the opportunities within the global supply chain for their startups? How do you think they can? Because
absolutely.
sometimes too much information, it's too difficult. It's counterproductive, right? So how can they really identify what are the opportunities? Where should they focus on in this?
See, Generation Z is too good, and they are always curious about certain things. So young entrepreneurs can identify opportunities within the global supply chain by conducting thorough market research to understand industry trends, identifying pain points or inefficiencies in the existing supply chains, and leveraging technology to streamline processes or creative, innovative solutions. Networking with industry professionals, attending trade shows, and seeking mentorship can also provide valuable insights and connections
You
to
are
young
touching such an
entrepreneurs.
important point. Networking also with other peers and networking with the partners, right? So this is also what brings those young people to Gen E. They're seeing it other companies across borders from over 40 European countries. And this is thanks to FedEx, who is supporting Gen E, right? And bringing also other partners to Gen E, so they can be investors to their startup, for instance. Um, but you touched upon one thing, Abby, which is also how you break the markets, right? And sometimes we know that there is a lot of regulations that does not allow. So in the EU, obviously, it's much easier when you are in those border. But for young people to understand that sometimes if you want to sell or import goods from also third party countries, uh, there is a sort of compliance also you need to deal with, right, into global. So how important is that aspect? Because it's often forgotten. You launch yourself into a global, but you need to also understand that regulations.
Absolutely. It's a very good question and a very essential one for the young entrepreneurs to understand this. Understanding international trade regulation and compliance is essential for startups venturing into global supply chain to avoid legal issues, custom delays, or penalties. Compliance with regulations related to import export licenses, tariffs, product standards, and intellectual property rights is crucial for smooth operations and maintaining a positive reputation in the global marketplace.
Yeah, you touch intellectual property rights. We see it too often. No, startup is a brilliant idea. They create some things. They go out there nationally, globally, but they do not protect themselves, right? So it's also important. This is a very key factor that you mentioned to me. They need to focus on how do I protect my idea, how do I protect my product, right? Because it can be copied when you by others. But you give it already a lot of tips. I want some more on how startup can effectively managing the logistic and the transportation within the global supply chain. Here we're trying to get the best out of you for our audience. Say what are the real tips that those young people need to focus.
Yeah, a couple of more tips for the startups who can effectively manage logistics and transportation within the global supply chain. They can do so by utilizing technology such as supply chain management software for real time tracking and optimization, establishing strong relationship with reliable logistic partners and carriers to ensure timely delivery and cost effectiveness, diversifying transportation options to mitigate risk and optimize routes, implementing sustainable practices to reduce environmental impact and enhance brand reputation, and continuously monitoring and analyzing performance metrics to identify areas for improvement and innovation. So these tips can help startups navigate the complexity of global supply chain and optimize their operations for success.
Well, we can see that all of those tips have been incorporated for sure by the startups that you are mentoring out there, as successful they are in breaking those barriers already and capturing all this experience that you have. So we are about to end this podcast for Jenny 2024 without forgetting one thing. There is the FedEx Access Award at Jenny. So some of the tips you already heard about it from Abby. Oh, now you really want to win some of those FedEx awards that we are presenting at Jenny. Any final words, Abby, for or any final suggestion how to win also that awards for the young people now that you have been in contact with so many young people thanks to the programs?
I would just say you are young, you're just starting up, take risk, be fearless, don't try to experiment, just go for it.
Just go for it. Be fearless. Indeed. I'm sure we are going to have a lot of innovation. I'm sure we are going to have a lot of watcher and listener of this podcast with the FedEx and FedEx Express. Thank you so much, Abby, for your time. I'm sure our young people across Europe, and do you know that JA in Europe impacts 6 million young people every year? 6 million young people every year in over 40 European countries. I'm sure they will all benefit from the tips that you have just provided. For the audience, remember one thing first of all, to visit www.gen-e.eu. Absolutely, because we have a huge virtual expo where you can navigate among over thousands and thousands of mini companies and startups who have built their stands. We have a lot of virtual activities, and then obviously Jenny 2024 July, Catania, Italy is waiting to see who are gonna be the winners of the FedEx Global Access Awards. Thank you, Abby. Thank you, FedEx.
Thank you.
Remember
Thank you. It
to
was a
share.
pleasure.
Thank
Thank you.
you.